here to tell you a little bit about my PKD story. I was diagnosed when I was 19 years old after I had a kidney infection. And when I was diagnosed with PKD, I became the fourth generation in my family to have polycystic kidney disease. My father has PKD, as did his brother and sister, and his mother had PKD, and his grandfather had PKD also. So it's kind of a long legacy that's gone through our family. When I was diagnosed, I had a positive outlook because my father had kind of always been a real stoic role model and had been doing well at the time. Not too long after my diagnosis, though, his kidneys failed, and at age 48, he had to go on dialysis. So that was sort of my first eye-opener to, oh, okay, this is what polycystic kidney disease is going to do to me eventually. But, you know, at that point, I was in my 20s, and it seemed like it was a long way away still. He was on dialysis for 4.5 years and then received a kidney transplant. That was 25 years ago. So we're thankful for all the research that has gone into the medications and technology to let kidney transplants succeed. That's kept him alive for these 25 years and let him be a part of our lives, our weddings, see grandchildren. So it's very, very grateful for that. And he's really been my inspiration. Fast forward a little bit after his kidney transplant, and I had a really severe kidney infection. It landed me in the hospital for a week and had me on heavy antibiotics for over a month. And that was a real eye-opener to me of the impact that polycystic kidney disease could have in my life. I thought it wasn't going to infect me for a while. And then I realized that, you know, even in my 20s, it could have a serious impact. So I started looking for information. I started seeking research and whatever I could find, and that led me to the PKD Foundation. I attended a conference, and it was really inspirational to hear research that was happening at the time. Way back then, they just identified the gene. So we're like, okay, so there's a gene, and hopefully this is going to lead to research, and maybe this will lead to something that will be able to help me. But it seemed kind of far-fetched. And I was watching at that point. I was like, okay, clinical trials. Is there anything that I can do to help myself and just to help future generations by contributing to finding some kind of a treatment for this disease? So then I got married. I had my kids, and was surprised to find out that it was high risk having a pregnancy with PKD. And sure enough, with my first, I ended up on bed rest for about 8 weeks because my blood pressure, which had been normal at that point, went through the roof. And even after she was born, it stayed high. So that kind of began my chronic need for medication related to my polycystic kidney disease. My second was born 2 years later. And at that point, I said, okay, I've got these kids. They could also have PKD. I have to do everything I can. So I got involved in the PKD Foundation, started up our Hudson Valley chapter. We didn't have one locally, and a Walk for PKD, and said, I need to do everything that I can. I started watching as the trials were rolling out, and at first, as the first trials were coming to be, I was in the process of having my kids, so I couldn't participate. But in 2010, I was really excited to be able to enroll in the Tempo 3-4 trial with tolvaptan. And I have been taking tolvaptan ever since. I could tell from the side effects. I especially knew that I was on it all along. And the exciting thing is that it helped my creatinine stay stable basically all this time. It started to creep up a little bit the last couple of years. I'm 51 now. So when I look at the fact that my dad's kidneys failed at 48, and that when I was diagnosed at 19, I already had a lot of cysts. So I wasn't going to be one that was going to have a slow progression. It looked like I was set up for a very rapid progression. So it's hard to articulate the hope that being in the clinical trial and taking tolvaptan brought to me and to our entire family. Knowing that it was out there and this research was coming down helped give us the confidence to have kids and know that they would have a better future if they're diagnosed with it. And it's given me a better quality of life. I really feel I probably wouldn't be feeling the way I am right now had I not had the opportunity to be taking it all this time. And so that's kind of where I'm at now. Big advocate for further trials and further research, because even though I'm feeling pretty good right now and my kidney function is fairly stable, I had sort of a reality check. I had an MRI, and it was the first time that I was able to actually really see what my kidneys look like right now. So many of them had been while I was in trial, and I didn't get to see the images. But when I was kind of faced with this picture of my kidneys and the reality that they have 95% filled with cysts and only about 5% healthy tissue. Even though I'm on tolvaptan, I know that the reality is I will probably need a transplant at some point. I also have a liver cyst related to PKD, which is 8 centimeters. So that is causing me some quality of life issues in terms of pain and interfering a little bit with digestion and stuff. So, tolvaptan is great, but it doesn't address the liver cysts and the discomfort that comes from that. So I'm really, really grateful that there's hope. Really grateful for these extra years that I've had feeling healthy. And very hopeful. We don't know yet if my kids have polycystic kidney disease. They're 19 and 17 now and are starting to be interested in getting tested. And they're very encouraged by the fact that there's research going on and that we're all optimistic that they'll be able to start a treatment much younger than I did if they do have PKD, and hopefully we'll never feel its full effects. And that's my PKD story.